Hey, this is the Well Advice Channel too. What I want to talk about today is the topic of did rap music originate in Africa? So for this video, I will explain in a simple and straightforward way the question of did rap music originate in Africa without any personal biases attached so you can know for certain if it originated in Africa or not, okay? So now I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of did rap music originate in Africa, a simple answer to the question is yes. Rock music did originate in Africa, but it was developed in America. Now, let me explain exactly what I mean. Okay, what I mean by that is that our Africa is that rap music, when it comes to its origination, is clearly from Africa. Everything from what makes rap music the ability to tell a story and also rhyming while you're telling a story was definitely something, if you look at enough history, was definitely developed in Africa and was there for some time, specifically, of course, no surprise, in West Africa, which most black people in African diaspora are originally from. They're from Africa, actually, okay? And that's one thing that's a big truth about Africa, okay? Rap music did originate in Africa. It was something that was something people used to do to rhyme and maybe make it maybe a bit easier for people to recall stories and stuff, particularly in a society where the vast majority of the population were illiterate and so on and so forth. So it definitely was something that was developed for whatever reason. Even when you listen to music and you look at historical evidence, and not just historical evidence, but listen to traditional African music. If you look around enough, you will see symbols of rap or similarities between African music and American rap music, okay? Everything from the beatboxing to the rhyming to the way they tell a story and so on and so forth. And some of these songs that they're singing are literally songs that have been sung for literally hundreds of years. So how the hell could it completely be an American invention if at the same time you can clearly tell a song that was made hundreds of years way before the 1980s even came around, for crying out loud, where rap really developed into what we know of it today? How is it that it's so freaking similar, if anything, as a whole? Because the simple truth of the matter is, rap music does originate in Africa. Even when you look at the other things that make up rap music, everything from the that are elements of rap culture, from obviously the dancing, such as the spinning b-boy dance, whatever you call it, the windmill break dancing, to sum it up, where people will dance around a little bit and then they'll spin around on the ground and stuff. There was recordings from the 1920s and 1930s, for crying out loud, way before American rap music was invented, um, that clearly shows them doing that sort of stuff, if anything. And of course, this was the 1920s and 1930s, so of course, Africa was a lot more. Of course, America and Africa, for that matter, were very isolated. And Africa specifically, of course, since it was very poor at the time, even poorer than it is today, was extremely isolated from the rest of the world. So how the hell are they doing something that Americans were doing at the same time? At least some people in the American South were doing at the same time. There's obviously a similarity, for crying out loud. So in truth, obviously that those are elements of rap culture, the dancing, and that, guess what? There's people in Africa who are doing that for the longest time, for crying out loud. So that's something that's very true that goes along with it. Not to mention, another thing to also add to that is that even when you listen to rap music, you can clearly tell elements of African rhythm in it. Everything from the rhythm patterns, like the 4x4 sort of thing, to of course the obsession with using drum patterns in a specific particular type of way, not to mention bass, no surprise, are obviously very similar to African drum patterns, and so on and so forth, for that matter. So something is clearly kind of not adding up here when you say that America completely developed rap music on its own. It did originate in Africa because the prerequisites for what became rap music was clearly developed in Africa. It just that in America, as we know it today, as a music genre, everything from it being of course full of people, the way it's developed, from everything from the type of topics you talk about to, of course, you know, officially making it into a music genre. And, music genre with the way, with the 1970s instrumentals and all that sort of stuff, of course, no surprise, was developed in America. Because obviously, as we all know, it does sound different from African music. Even though the similarities, it does sound different from African music because obviously it was evolved in America. And America at the time obviously had technology and stuff they used that was clearly not available in Africa at all. And if it was extremely limited. So in truth, obviously, its development as we know it is clearly is American. But when it comes to its originations, like the foundations of it, it comes from Africa. Because guess where its surprised African Americans come from? They come from Africa. So truth be told, it is the simple truth of the matter is, without any personal biases being attached, it was originated in Africa but developed in America. Because at the end of the day, we're the same people. This whole shit about, oh, you guys had nothing to do with it. I'm a proud FBA, foundational Black American, who likes to make himself look like he's a victim for everything, but overlooks all the times African Americans make fun of other African demographics. Like those type of people, the FBA people who are just goofy in honesty. Aside from those goofy people who clearly want to rewrite history, and some of them even go as far as to claim that African Americans are actually Native Americans, which, okay, I don't know where you're getting your information from there. But anyway, they claim all these silly things and they run their mouth off of this sort of bullshit. The simple truth of the matter, when you look at the facts, we are from Africa. Whether you like to admit it or not, we are from Africa. And that's the simple truth of the matter. So in short, aside from explaining, of course, the answer that, of course, you guys are curious about, which is that do us black people, does rap music originate from Africa, which is a question obviously you want to have answered if you clicked on this video. The second thing I also, of course, want to mention, which is the message you can get from this video, is that in the end of the day, when it comes to African Americans and Africans, we can get along because no matter how you look at it, we are the same people. And most of the things that have caused a division between our two groups could easily be resolved. Because most of the division I feel that's kind of caused, aside from misconceptions we have about each other because of the media, is caused because we spend so much time making fun of each other in the end of the day. Africans like to make fun of African Americans for being criminals, and African Americans like to make fun of Africans for being poor, and vice versa throughout all of the African diaspora. African Caribbean people like to make fun of African Americans. African Americans like to make fun of African Caribbean people, and it goes all over the place. Okay, the simple truth of the matter is, when it comes to that simple answer, we need to stop making fun of each other. And if we stop making fun of each other, and obviously looking at each other as different, when in the end of the day, like, we have the same common person who's out to get us, we can obviously resolve our issues for that matter, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, we are the same people, and there's no way around it, and we need each other more than anyone else. Because God forbid a situation happens in America, where God forbid a race war or something happens, where the hell are we gonna go to? Where the hell are African Americans gonna go to? What, Canada? Some might be able to go to Canada, but how much does Canada even have? I'm Canadian, and most of our land is not as cold enough, is not warm enough to hold that many people anyway. Most of our land is too cold to have many people there anyway, to be more specific. And Mexico, what are you going to Mexico for? Where are we going to go to in Africa? Where are we going to go to? It's Africa. That's all we have. And when it comes to Africans, where are they going to learn information and knowledge when their countries are extremely poor? From African Americans. So at the end of the day, we need to help each other. We can't play this game, so on and so forth, anymore, because we're the same people in the end of the day. And that's the truth of the matter. Most of these issues we have with each other can easily be resolved if people use their head instead of just simply blaming and claiming to be the victim from any one particular side. The truth of the matter is, we are the same people. We need to resolve the situation and know it's the truth. Not to mention, just to add to that, we cannot, just because because maybe some people, black people, are not happy with how other black people treated them or just whatnot, rewrite history. Because at the end of the day, we're the same people, and everything you can imagine can be resolved. So anyway, this is my video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. And just remember, if you like this video and videos like this, remember to thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is all to say. Until we put them out. So bye.